Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, back with another video. Today I'm going to be making just a Christmas card for a family member. I did a video with my mass production of Christmas cards that go to, just general out to family and friends, but I want to do special cards for like immediate family, like my parents and Scott's parents and brothers and sisters and stuff. So that's what today's card is. I'm going to start off with my Big Shot, and I'm using my platform, my 2 acrylic plates, a piece of vintage cream cardstock, the tag sale number 3 die, which I used in my last video when I used the leftover pieces from my cards, and then my other clear plate, and I'm just going to go ahead and run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so I have my tag die cut, and for some reason there must have been something on my die. It kind of, a little piece of, it looks actually like metal from the die, and I think it's just the paint they use on the die that's stuck inside there, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to use some walnut stain distress ink, and I'm just going to go ahead and ink up my tag here. Actually, that little piece just came out. Thank you. So all I'm doing is just inking this up, and I'm using, like I said, walnut stain, and I'm going to give this a nice little bit of a kind of rusticy look here with the walnut stain. Walnut stain is one of my favorite distress inks. That and the vintage photo, that's another one I like. So, alright, so that's my tag. I'm just going to set this aside now for a bit, and I'm going to clean up the ink on my desktop here. I'm going to start off by assembling my card first. I have a piece of craft cardstock. It's paper tray ink, and it's cut to be an A2 size card. And then what I did was I took some pattern paper from my Cardabella paper pad, which is this one right here. It's Christmas Day, it's called, and I love this Santa right here. I was actually going to use this one, but then I decided I wanted to save him. Alright, I'll admit I'm hoarding them. So I have picked out this pattern paper here. I'm going to use the front and the back of this one, and I'm doing it so that I'm not wasting any paper. I cut out my pattern paper so that it's 1/4 of an inch smaller. So, and then I took the pattern paper cuts out like this, just so I could show you. This is the one side, so that was a full strip here. This is the little part that has the hole in the top where the pad usually hangs from, and then this is the other one. So I'm going to use these 2 pieces. So I cut this one down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have this piece right here that I'm going to use as well, and then I'll save this for something else in the future. So I'm going to use this side on the front of my card, and then I'm going to take the one with the hole in it, because I'm going to cover that up, and that'll get adhered right to the front of that. So I'm just going to use some adhesive to adhere that down. So that kind of serves a little bit as my sentiment. And then I have some seam binding out that I had pulled out to use in another project, and I love the color, the way this looks with it, so I thought I would adhere this to the front. So all I'm going to do is just put that on the front, and then I'll adhere it down with some Scotch tape. And this is seam binding that I dyed myself. I'll put a link to where I order the seam binding over on my blog if you guys want to check it out. And then we'll just trim this piece off. So that sort of hides my little hole there from the top of my card, or the top of my piece of pattern paper, but I will finish that off with a bow, and then you won't see it at all. So that's going to get adhered directly down to the front of my card. I was checking to make sure I put the sentiment in the right direction. Alright, that'll get adhered right to the front. Like that. So I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to work on my tag. And for my tag, I'm using the paper tray ink stamp set. It's called Winter Hills, and I'm going to use this stamp right here. which I already have put onto my stamp block, but this is the Martha Stewart stamp mount. And I'm going to use some Jenny Bolin ink on this. And I'm doing nothing really fancy. I'm not coloring it in or anything like that. So I'm just going to ink this up. And then I'm going to stamp that right on the front of my tag. Okay. And then I'm going to add another little piece of seam binding to the top of that. Then this will get adhered right to the front of my card. Just like that. And I'm not going to push that down yet because I want to make sure that my bow is going to be in the right spot. So I'm going to take my seam binding and tie my bow. Okay, well I wasn't liking how my bow was turning out tying it, so what I did was I just took a piece and tied it separately, and I'm going to use a glue dot to adhere it down, because what it was doing, it was actually pulling where you can see the hole from that pattern paper. So I am just going to actually adhere my bow with the glue dot right there, and then I'll trim my tails off on my bow, and that way I'm still hiding that little piece that I cut off. So I have my little tag here, and I'm going to go ahead and push that down, and then I'll trim the tails on this one. And then the last thing I have is this little wood veneer that I added glitter to. They come in, they're Studio Calico, they come like this. And what I did was I just used glossy accents and some Martha Stewart glitter, which was called Smoky Quartz, so that's this one right here. And I just got that ready so that it was dry by the time I was ready to use it. So I'm just going to use some glossy accents to adhere this down. And that's going to go right along the side of my tag, just like that. So that's my card for today. Thanks for watching. And you can find a complete list of supplies I used on today's card over on my blog. See you next time! I made my last video, or 2 videos were this is more than just a little bit clogged.